Hi there, I'm Jill Chivers from shopyourwardrobe.com.
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style blog.
And we were talking in another video about imagining wearing an item of clothing that's been in our wardrobe for some time. We're doing a wardrobe review. We're trying to assess whether or not to keep it. We were talking about something else. But Imogen, you said something really interesting, which is, could I imagine wearing this item in the future? And it got us thinking that this is a really interesting thing when you think about the time continuum. So often when time is used as the criteria on which to assess an item and let it go, it's always backwards looking time, looking back in time, as opposed to looking at time present or time future. And we thought that could be an interesting thing to talk about with you today.
Yes. Because it's really important when we're thinking about it, because so often there's so much of our, organising porn, as I call it, where they tell you, if you just have the right boxes, if you have the right system, you'll be organised. And so we often buy into that because we all want to be organised. We have this desire for it. But quite frequently, this whole, if you haven't worn it in 6 months or a year, you should just throw it out.
Yeah.
And I think we have to think more deeply about an item than just that very simple little piece of logic, if you could call it logic. Yes. And so therefore it's this, yes, I might not have worn something in a year, but maybe it's a summer dress, and last summer it wasn't very hot, so I never got the opportunity to wear it.
Yeah, or I wasn't in a dress mode last summer.
Last summer I had something or other, I had a rash and I couldn't wear a dress or something. I mean, there's so many reasons, we might have had something medical, and I know people who are going, oh, my leg, I can't just wear my short dresses at the moment, but it doesn't mean I'm never going to wear them again.
Yeah.
And so it's that thing where we want to think about looking into the future to go, can I imagine wearing this again? Because this is also something when people have a favourite that they're holding onto.
Yeah.
That they think, yeah, it's a favourite, so they've got a lot of emotion and memory attached to a garment.
Yeah.
But if you actually say, can you imagine wearing this again? They go, actually, no, I can't.
Yes. It's such a helpful question, because looking back in time, which is not to say that isn't a useful criteria from time to time, it's just not the only criteria, particularly if you're looking at time. And of course there are many ways of dissecting your wardrobe and looking at it, but from a time perspective, just looking backwards is only going to give you one piece of information. And it may not be the best piece of information. Yes. It may not be the most useful piece of information. And I love that question. That really landed for me in that previous video about, could I imagine wearing it in the future? It just lights up, I think, a part of our thinking, a part of our brains, a part of our spirit perhaps, when it comes to thinking about, feeling about our wardrobes and what's possible.
Yes. So what's in it? So, and this is where sometimes too is, and there's the imagining, say, if we've put on weight and we're losing weight, that we often hold on to things because we can imagine wearing them in the future.
Right, yeah.
And that's often, I think, why we keep our skinny wardrobe, is because we go, yes, I can imagine wearing that again.
Yeah.
And look, and sometimes, though, is we always have to also kind of layer upon that fashion cycles.
Yeah.
And that sometimes if it was 5 years since you put on weight, it's going to take you another 2 years to get back to that size. It's going to be 7 years old. Is it still going to be in fashion?
Yeah. By
the time you get there? And that's something we also have to take into consideration.
Sure.
But it's that thing where, but can I imagine wearing it? So just because you didn't wear it last year and say it's in good condition and you like it, and but look at the reasons. And I think that's the thing is, if you go, if I can't ever imagine wearing it again, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But if you can imagine it, if it makes you feel good, because I think when you're thinking about, can I imagine it, it should be making you feel good on the inside.
Yes, absolutely.
And so if the garment doesn't make you feel good, then it's not something to keep.
And I think that you get an immediate yes or no to that. You get an immediate red light or green light when it comes to that. And that instinct is really worth listening to. And if the instinct is, yes, I should keep this, I can imagine wearing it in future, morphed in some different way, coordinated with things in a different way, perhaps upstyled or recycled in some way, then that can be enough to give it a reprieve. It doesn't need to be let go of straight away, because you never know what other new ideas are going to pop into your mind, or what else you're going to see that's the missing piece that you go, now I have that. This now makes sense. I'm so glad I kept it. And I have things, not very many, but I do have a number of items that I really regret letting go of. And I replaced them, and it's only when I'm holding the new thing I go, that was just like the skirt that I let go of in 2002 because I hadn't worn it for 2 years, and I've now kind of replaced it 6 years later.
And you were told you should get rid of it because you hadn't worn it for a couple of years.
Yes.
And so I think that's where it's this, you just have to, yes, there are some general kind of ideas to help people let things go. And this is just another video where we are helping you make some decisions about should we keep it, should we let it go, because you can't keep everything. And it's not good to keep everything, and too much clutter clutters your brain up. So not advocating don't get rid of anything.
No.
But it is just a different way of looking at your wardrobe to say, is it still valid? Is that, I haven't worn it in 6 months, get rid of it. I mean, like in Melbourne, if I haven't worn it in 6 months, it's because it's a different season.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Of course I haven't worn it.
Sometimes that happens within the space of a 24-hour period.
Yes. So it is one of those things. It's just something to think about. And we'd love you to have it, think about going, maybe that, and if you have got those pieces in the past, that you've let go of, and I think we've all done this, where we've gone, I wish I'd kept that thing.
Yeah.
That, and look, if it was 20 years ago, maybe, that's a long time to hold on to something. And maybe you are glamorizing it in your brain of what it was.
Yes.
But if it's a year or 2 years, it's a good thing to run past, because often people keep a lot of stuff in their wardrobe and they say to me, I know I should have got rid of a whole lot of this stuff. And that's just a simple question to go, is it still valid or not?
Yeah. Could you imagine wearing it in the future? So it's a good question to not only on the tracks of time to turn around and look backwards when you're assessing an item, but turn around and look into the future as well as where you are right now, of course. So I think it's a really helpful question. It's loaded with possibilities, and for me, it just gives a sense of opening into a new space. I love that question.
Yes.